I grew up a liberal Democrat because, after all, I'm a Jew from New York who went to Columbia. Okay, I got all the credentials of. I voted for Jimmy Carter, for which I'm still atoning. So I just want to. I always ask people who knew me, tell me one position I have now that I didn't have when I was a liberal Democrat, and there's silence. I haven't changed. They've changed.
I'm Dave Rubin, and joining me today is the host of the Dennis Prager radio show, the founder of PragerU, or I should say the co-founder of PragerU, and my rabbi, even though he's not really a rabbi, Dennis Prager. Welcome back to the Rubin Report, old friend.
There is only one slight cloud over our being together again, and that is we are no longer living in the same city, the same time zone, or the same coast. I just want everybody watching to know I miss Dave and I miss David.
Well, we, Dave and David, miss you and Sue. We miss you a lot. We're going to see you in a couple weeks, but actually, that is the perfect place to start this conversation, because 2 days before I officially left Los Angeles, and when I left, it was a quick thing, and I was just out of there. I hosted a dinner at my house with a couple couples just to say goodbye. Some of the people who were the formative people of my years in Los Angeles. And you and Sue were there, obviously. And we talked about whether it is right or just or worthwhile to stay and fight, and when you should know it's time to go. I obviously felt it was time to go. You have you have other obligations and things, but why don't we just start the conversation there? Because, yeah, you're there. I'm here, and yet we see the world in such a similar way, and we're living in different coasts in very different planets right now.
I am not staying. This might help give your viewers more faith in how committed I am to honesty. I am not staying for the noble reason of fighting. I fight every day. I would fight if I were in Florida. But I wouldn't be fighting Florida. I would be fighting wokeism, leftism, wherever it is. I'm not staying because I think California is salvageable. At this time, I do not think it is salvageable. People who vote for district attorneys who will increase death are not salvageable. So I'm here because there are too many people I adore. You two were among them, and you left, and I totally understand why you did. But I founded a synagogue here, which means a great deal to me. Every single week, I have this time with people I truly love. I speak at the synagogue. I'm sort of the unofficial rabbi. And of course, other people. I've been here for 40 years. It's a long time. You make a lot of friends. But I'm not here because of the fight issue. If you want to fight, you can fight anywhere in this country, from Montana to California to Florida. And I wish everybody did fight. But specifically with regard to California, I'm here because of people. By the way, if a lot of the conservatives of California move to other states, that's great for the battle against the left, because it increases the non-left vote in those states. The worry is when Californians who are on the left flee California or flee New York and then bring the policies that they fled to the new states. That's sick.
Well, I can tell you from being here just for a couple of weeks, I've mentioned this on the show almost every day. The people that I'm meeting here who are the new refugees here, they know what they fled and why they fled. So I'm very hopeful.
That's right.
I'm very, very hopeful on that front. But all right, what do you think? Let's go with that for a little bit. What do you think really is the future of America if this mass migration happens? If basically there'll be sort of minorities like you in California that will be fighting the good fight but won't have political power, And then we'll have places in red states that may be more aligned with us. What is the united bond of the United States of America if this continues in this direction, which to me it has to, actually, at this point?
For all intents and purposes, there are two Americas. I think Americans are more divided now than they were during the Civil War. During the Civil War, they were divided on the spectacularly important issue of slavery. But otherwise, they were not divided. And now, that's a big deal, obviously, but still, right now, the division is on every issue. We agree essentially on nothing important. And look, there's a fantasy in me that all the big cities of the country secede. It's not geographically possible because you couldn't have such a non-contiguous country. But if New York and Los Angeles and Chicago and San Francisco and Seattle and Philadelphia, if they all made their own country and left the rest of us, even with all the finance that they would take, all the money, all the banks, it would be paradisical for the rest of us. But it can't happen because of the geographical issue. So what has to happen is, I think, what you just painted. The scenario you painted was of people coalescing in the states they agree with.
And then what makes us united? I mean, does that work? I mean,
we're not united. We're not. I mean, look, I hate saying it. I love this country. We're not united. Tell me an issue that left and right agree on. I think the rest of this podcast could be spent waiting for you to give me an answer.
Yeah, well, there used to have been a healthy tension, let's say, between liberal and conservative or Republican and Democrat, something like that. Now it just doesn't exist. It's just basically bow.
Well, it doesn't exist because we're not fighting liberals. We're fighting leftists. If we were fighting liberals, there would be a United States of America. I mean,
if you were fighting liberals, I'd be on the other side of you.
Fine, I'd be on the other side of me. I grew up a liberal Democrat because, after all, I'm a Jew from New York who went to Columbia. Okay, I got all the credentials of. I voted for Jimmy Carter, for which I'm still atoning. So I just want to. I always ask people who knew me, tell me one position I have now that I didn't have when I was a liberal Democrat, and there's silence. I haven't changed. They've changed.
Would there maybe be one, so when you were a liberal Democrat, you were still pro-life? I mean, now we're talking 40 years ago.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. I have evolved on abortion, by the way, not for religious reasons.
Yeah,
but for science reasons, solely. You can't deny it's a human being at a very early age. I mean, it's just, people who say follow the science are generally lying. If they followed the science, they would know that a human is being killed, certainly from the heartbeat or brain waves when they begin. Okay? We could argue about zygotes. There's an honorable argument on both sides, but not in the end of the first trimester.
If you're looking for more honest and thoughtful conversations about politics instead of nonstop yelling, check out our politics playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a variety of topics, watch our full episode playlist, all right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.